All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to piece together the story of a corner of Italy you probably don't know, a place where history is literally etched into the land and the towns. We're going to explore the beautiful and honestly often overlooked mosaic of northern Puglia.
And that's really the key right there. Forget the postcard Italy you have in your head. This area is, well, it's a complex mosaic of water, stone, faith, and history. It doesn't just give up its secrets. And that's exactly what makes discovering them so incredible.
So, our first piece of this mosaic has to be the landscape itself, which has been defined for millennia by these silent waters. We're going to start with the twin lagoons of the Gargano Peninsula.
You know, the first thing that hits you here is just the stillness. This is Lake Lucina, and because the water is so shallow, it creates this unbelievable mirror effect. For centuries, this has been the heart of an ancient eel fishing tradition, a silent craft passed from one generation to the next, connecting people directly to the rhythm of the water.
Then, just a short hop away, you've got its bigger, more introspective sibling, Lake Varano. It just feels more rugged, more ancient. It's surrounded by these deep pine forests, and it has this sense of wildness and isolation that's just really powerful but also deeply peaceful.
And seeing them side by side like this, it just perfectly captures the contrast, right? Lucina's identity is all tied up with the town shimmering on its shore with human tradition. Varano, on the other hand, its soul is in its raw, untamed nature. Two lagoons, two totally different personalities.
But you know, the story of the water here isn't just about the lagoons. Flowing all the way from the mountains out to the sea is the Ofanto River. Think of it like a liquid thread, just weaving through 3 different regions, connecting cultures and centuries of history all along its path.
And this is what's so important to get. The Ofanto is way more than just geography. It's a river of memory. It flows calmly through lands that saw one of history's most epic battles, the Battle of Cannae, where Hannibal famously crushed the Romans. That history, it's literally carried in its current.
Okay, so from the water, let's climb up into the hills and explore the next piece of our mosaic. These incredible, enduring villages that almost look like they grew right out of the stone they're built on.
Just look at this place. This is Candela. It looks like a waterfall of stone just tumbling down the hillside. For centuries, this was a super important stop on the Transhumanza, those ancient routes for shepherds moving their flocks with the seasons. You can almost feel that pastoral history in the air here.
And when you walk through Candela's streets, you really feel what's been called a layered silence. It's intimate, it's protective. Today, it's also getting known for these really innovative ways it's trying to fight depopulation, breathing new life into these ancient stones.
I know, it's kind of a weird question, right? But trust me, it's the perfect way to introduce our next town. A place where artisans manage to do something that seems completely impossible.
And here's your answer. In the town of Troia, stone becomes pure art. This is the absolutely incredible rose window of its cathedral. I mean, look at the intricacy. It's meant to be a symbol of cosmic harmony. It's both mathematical and poetic, all carved out of unforgiving rock.
See, Troia used to be a powerful Norman stronghold, and you can feel that medieval legacy everywhere. But what's really striking is that this isn't some museum town. History here is alive, it's inhabited, it's woven right into the fabric of everyday life.
All right, now for our third tile in the mosaic. And this is where we see some really dramatic contrasts, from these primal, fiery rituals all the way to the rational, geometric planning of modern agriculture.
Yeah, that phrase? It pretty much perfectly captures the spirit of our next stop, San Marco in Lamis, and its most famous, totally unforgettable tradition.
So this town, perched right on the edge of the Gargano, it's a place where deep spirituality and ancient folklore are just completely tangled up together. And on one night a year, that connection becomes, well, terrifyingly real. They call it the procession of the Fracci. We are talking enormous, blazing torches made from entire tree trunks. They're carried through the town to light the way for a statue of the Virgin Mary. It is a primal, cinematic spectacle of grief and devotion. Just unbelievable.
Okay, deep breath, because now we're doing a complete 180, from that primal fire to pure logic. This is San Ferdinando di Puglia. Just look at that orderly grid from above, that rational design. This town could not be more different from the medieval villages we've been seeing.
And that's because it wasn't born from centuries of history piling up on itself. Nope, it was planned, built in the 19th century as part of this massive project to reclaim land. Its soul isn't an ancient stone. It's in the vast, fertile fields of the Tavoliere Plain that stretch out all around it.
So let's zoom back out for a second. We've seen the silent waters, the stone villages, the fiery rituals, and the planned fields. So what does this whole mosaic tell us about the soul of this place?
It tells us that this region is defined by its depth, not by big, flashy spectacles. Each of these things, the silent lagoons, the river full of memories, the ancient villages, those dramatic rituals, and the resilient farmland, they all exist in this kind of subtle, perfect balance.
And really, this is the key takeaway. You just can't rush through this part of the world. To understand it, you have to slow down, you have to pay attention, and you have to let its stories come to the surface, layer by layer.
Ultimately, this incredible mosaic of landscapes and human stories, it doesn't just ask you to look at it. It invites you to really engage, to feel the silence of the lagoons, to listen for the echo of history in the streets, and to remember that deep connection between people and their land.
So we end where we began, with the quiet waters of Lake Lucina. It feels like a fitting final image for a region whose deepest truths aren't found in noise and action, but in the profound beauty of stillness. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What stories might you find if you just took a moment to listen?